Greetings, Salama. Welcome to Q2UA Discussions. I'm your host, Karis Copeland. Let's begin. Dun-dun. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to Q2A Discussions. There are things going on in the West that is affecting the continent of Africa. And this kind of piggybacks off of some of the statements I had stated last week when we see what's going on, or I would say the lack of awareness of what is going on, you'll have different things happening, and those things that are happening will be videos that will be used for disinformation or misinformation. And why is that? Well, that's simply because the lack of control, especially in today's environment, the lack of control isn't just control, it's really being able to see how the world is changing, and that change having a positive for others will always have a negative consequence for others. People do not want to see Africa change. Countries do not want to see Africa be able to handle its own businesses, its own affairs, and let alone its own resources. The construct is no longer the construct that many countries have been used to. How is it that all of a sudden we are being asked to do things, that we're being asked to bring our big ideas over to the continent to support big ideas? Because they know that once we put our minds to something, once we have it in our minds, once we have it in our hearts, once we believe and understand and talk out that vision, guess what? Things happen. They know that things happen. They understand it. Well, things have happened for them. Kind of, sort of, not really. Things have happened for them, but it's not the way that you may think. It's not sustainable because it's about what can be taken quickly rather than what can be achieved through mutual benefits. And those mutual benefits has been a lack because what has gone on for centuries has created the backlash that we're seeing today. And really, it has truly been the Most High that has allowed for doors to open on the continent. Organizations like Q2UA has been able to do some things that most have not been able to accomplish. Earlier this year, and I'm going to continue to harp and to move, but earlier this year, the rallying cry of sending over a container of medical supplies was heard and it was answered by our people dramatically. And and again, that's truly a blessing to see that happen, to witness that happen. And as that has happened, as that has taken place, understanding the doors that have opened and being able to meet with dignitaries, to talk to our people on the continent that are ecstatic about something that we may see as small or insignificant. I'm going to tell you, nothing that we do is small or insignificant. The Most High is truly amazing. I know that we'll have our critics. That just comes with the territory. If it was of the Most High, do you think that it would be easy? Or do you think that there was always going to be some sort of opposition? And I always would ask, what type of story, what have we always seen when the Most High moves in a situation? There's always opposition. There has to be. because it has to be for his glory and his alone. So now, as we are seeing everything taking place, I am still calling the fast for this Monday, Monday, August 25th, sun up to sundown. I will be hosting that on Covenant Awakenings. Because right now, there is a container on its way. I can proudly say that it is on the water for its last leg. Final departure. It has left a port in southern Europe and is now on the open water in the waters of Africa, making its way down to Ghana. Fasting for the doors to be open to go over and to get media, to talk to dignitaries at high levels, to be able to open up the doors for opportunities for our people. The doors have been open, but this will just help to solidify things. Documenting the process of getting the container from the port to Ouagadougou to show the efforts of what was made. That's a big victory for this community. That's a big victory for our people that may not even realize what's happening. While you actively have a lockdown in a certain city that's going to spread to other cities. If you see what's happening in DC, don't think that Atlanta is not next. Don't think that Birmingham is not next. Atlanta literally opens the door to all of Florida. And that's not just Florida, that's also the South. Because once you take care of the South, there's no stopping. There's no stopping. What, you think it's just going to stop in California? I highly doubt it. Is it going to stop in Texas? I highly doubt it. So now here we are in this time, a time where you're seeing alliances on the continent looking to establish themselves. They're looking to establish themselves. Now, in terms of, I always say anything that we now see from the continent or from other media sources, please take with a grain of salt. This is why I'm going to say, please take it with a grain of salt. Because the reality is that we're seeing a time in which we're going to have misinformation. They've tried to actively cut off the information flow from the continent. Gee, surprise, surprise. Like we didn't see that that was going to happen. As we begin to witness different things occurring on the continent, you're going to see really a lot of the news reporting coming from Eastern European and Asian news sources. And here's the funny thing about that: you will have those news sources being challenged by good old AI. As I looked for some of those sources earlier today, AI was saying, especially on Gemini, that there was no links, there was no connections, none of that. YouTube and all the other YouTube folks are just making things up. Sputnik Africa was saying that 3 months ago. Chad's president was looking for a possible alliance. But things like this, it's not in the purview or the narrative of the West to see the loss of the influence from different countries on the continent, because they know what that means. They know that one single spark and domino starts the fall of the dominoes all around the continent. And we've seen it happen. We've seen it happening with what, Botswana, Zambia, and Namibia. We've seen it happening with Tanzania. And we're seeing a fragile relation, or excuse me, a fragile government in Kenya. And that's largely due because of a more or less Western puppeteer in the Ruto regime. These have some serious implications for Western nations when it comes to resources. I was just looking at the story the other day. Actually, not the other day, right now. I'll put it on in here. There's some Market Watch. The AI bubble. They said nobody's paying for AI. Well, duh. That's kind of a oxymoronic twist. You took away a resource thinking that you're having an input for a resource and it gives no output, so people aren't getting paid. So therefore, nobody's paying for it. Boy, oh boy, the wisdom and the lack of insight is astonishing. Meanwhile, on the continent, while everybody's trying to plan their 401k survival, not success, survival, we're on over here talking with our brothers and sisters on the continent regarding resource management. Such a simple concept, but the implications are so far reaching. I can't delve in deep, and I'm not going to delve in deep. But understand that as we are managing those relationships, that relationship management sparks a worth and a value more than what can even be imagined. And they know that they've lost the continent, and they know that they've lost the empire. It's just going to unravel. Remember, they went all in for AI, what, 6 months ago? Not even 6 months ago. They had the whole thing over at the White House. And I'm like, hey, AI, you can't eat microchips. Microchips won't give you shelter. Microchips can't quench your thirst. I don't care what they were trying to do and how they were trying to do it. They may try to do whatever. Look, I know they try to have machines that can pick strawberries, supposedly. But all this was just really a farce to take money out of the hands of the people here in the West. I saw it coming. I even commented about it. Yeah, it's just another scheme. And now all of a sudden, Sam Altman is saying, we got AI, but nobody wants to buy it. How can you make a profit? Everybody's now losing their jobs at a ghastly pace. No job is safe, whether you're a teacher, a doctor, nurse, a lawyer, anyone of any type of professional standing, pretty soon they'll be coming for mechanics. They already know. They're taking away everything. And guess what? All that's just going to be subsidized by the government anyway. How can you pay taxes when the tax base is obliterated? Doesn't make sense, does it? It's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to indoctrinate you into the new system, the system of the lack of resources, and the system of an underclass that will slowly disappear and fade out of existence. Mind you, that's what they wanted to do for the last 160 plus years since the end of slavery. And now they can utilize AI, their new tool, for their last vestige, their last play. But I have news for you. We can see it, and so can our brothers and sisters on the continent. I have news for you. We can actually establish a relationship with our brothers and sisters on the continent while they've literally destroyed their relationships with their Western allies, their European ties. They're not accepted into Africa like they had once been. I am a missionary that can work on, that can be a doctor. Where did you go to study? Don't worry about it. Treating kids. Had no right treating women and children and killing them because that person wasn't even medically trained. The horrors, the wickedness. Going on over and deleting women because of a perversion that was had by folks going over there claiming to, quote unquote, bring the gospel, the perversions. See, we've dealt with that here in the West. And we were trying to tell them, but they had to learn the hard way. We were trying to warn them, but they couldn't understand it. And now they're realizing that they don't have the same access that they once had to the continent, and that is destroying them mentally, physically, even financially, economically. Can't get a job. Their tariffs, their trade wars. Oh, it's going to be great. Yeah, it was great for the government as it taxed people. As the importers, bringing folks in or bringing in funds, bringing in resources, as the importers, that means Exporters, the folks that sending goods to the importers here in the United States, those that are buying the goods, are now having to pay for tariffs. That means everything has become expensive. The tariffs will be paid by other countries. Okay. That's literally economics 101. That just goes to show the nature of incompetence, to not use common sense, wisdom, or even just basic understanding, which always makes you wonder, how do these people get jobs? See, for years we've tried to strive. That's what I did. I was trying to strive to utilize my mental prowess to come up with different solutions, to show my worth that they would always try to denigrate. You're not good enough. You're not good enough, but I need you to do this. I need you to work on this. I need you to complete this. I need you to to do this. If you don't, you're gonna get fired. If you don't, you're gonna lose this. If you don't, right? Having us do things and then threatening us. Because why? Because they knew how to deal with us. It was a control mechanism because that was our slave mindset. Enslaved mindset. Ah, ah. And do you know what ended up happening? In less than a year. In less than a year, we said we're done. A majority of our people said we were done. And I guarantee you, when they finally tell the truth about the lack of quote unquote black folks, quote unquote African Americans that had participated in the last election, when folks said that they voted couch, when folks said that, what's the point? And then they tried to have the same sad excuse of, well, the point is that it could be worse. No, no, this is worse. This is horrible. There ain't no coming back from this. I'm done. We're done. Do you know that what ended up happening was we broke a spiritual bond? We broke a spiritual covenant. As a people, we said no more. That was a rejection of a spiritual bond of what? Of bringing your lot to what? To the altar. To the altar of their tabernacles, which is their government. And they knew it. They knew that that spiritual rejection had happened, and guess what? You could see it in their faces. You could tell even afterwards. They're like, "How come you're not celebrating? How come you're not protesting? How come you're not this? How come you're not that?" No, we're done. Remember all that happened? April, May, June, July. They gave up. August, they gave up. They're still out there protesting, but they gave up. See, the whole process was there had to be an entertainment value for us to be engaged in their smoke and mirrors. We stopped engaging, and that became dangerous. And it became dangerous because we said, hey, brothers and sisters, hey, family, hey, cousins, remember us? Yeah, we were done. We were mind warped. Remember those curses? Well, we decided to break them because we decided to call on our Heavenly Father. We're not perfect at it. We're not good at it, but you know what? We're trying. We've turned our faces from their system. We've said we need to create opportunities for us over on the continent because we do not have a power base. The Chinese, the Indians, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Middle Eastern, those nations have power bases. We don't. And in doing so, they started to understand their power base. Their source of power was always in themselves as a people. And they started to look and they started to find out why they were weakened. It was a chain reaction. Well, they did it. And then that's when the backlash occurred. We already knew that Alligator Alcatraz is going to be for us. We already knew that all those FEMA camps are going to be for us. Even as I think about that, even as I sit here and think about, oh, that could be calamitous. Oh, that could be, you know what? The crazy thing is I don't care. Reality is that whatever they think they're going to do for us actually is going to be for them. That's what the word says. Those that dig that pit, they end up falling into their own pit. That's scripture. The plans of the wicked always fall on those that do wicked when they're trying to do that to the righteous. Most High's not going to have that. But that's their arrogance. That's the arrogance of their heart. And they know that their arrogance has really not just reached the heavens, it's reached the whole entire world because the whole entire world now sees them. You saw a time where people were fighting back, countries were fighting back, nations were fighting back. They no longer believed the narrative. They didn't believe the hype. It was all hype. It was all hyped up. And when they realized that their hype could no longer get the same play that it once had, that's when they were in panic. That's why they're going after people right now today to say that it's crime, it's crime. Didn't we just hear that historically? Why do you think they want to get rid of history of us? Because why? Because every single thing that they do and that they've done to us has all been documented. Gee, if I'm going to do the same playbook as their forefathers, I guess I got to get rid of history. I guess I got to get rid of media and communications and limit their communication channels. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm going to limit it. It's the same playbook. See, in these times, we've been able to understand who we are and we've been able to call out to the continent. And guess what? The continent has answered. And it has answered in a tremendous way. You all may not realize it. You all may not know that just yet because I have to be able to message it when that timing is ready for me to message. Because why? Because we cannot afford to have any type of setbacks. We can't afford to have any type of self sabotage because of self hating black folks. And that's happened. If I can sabotage that, then maybe I can get my job back from AI. A lot of these people truly think that. We have to pray for our brothers and sisters. Look, they know that they're fighting against the Most High, and that's going to be their shame. We're telling you that. Look, what are you going to do when everybody is forced to leave? That's their worst nightmare. Oh, snap. They're going to remember everything that I did, everything that I said, everything that I had done for the butter biscuits. They know, they understand, they get it. That's a hard thing for them. They're still trying to reconcile why this system is breaking. And guess what? We have nothing to do with it. There's not going to be any fault found in us. That's literally what the word says. They're going to search for fault and not find any because what? We're not doing anything. We don't even get a chance to be in the Oval Office. They have constructors of the architects, the hate towards African Americans. And they've documented it's not a political thing. That's a spiritual thing. That's a heart thing. That's a heart issue. That's the issue. They have Naaman up in there. Okay. And I really do feel sorry for those folks when judgment lands on their door. We've gone through this before. We've done all this before. All we're going to do is just sit and wait in astonishment to see their end. Sorry, that's just what's going to happen. We already know. You can try your best to strive against the Most High, but we already know. We're just going to look at you as an astonishment and as a wonder. Oh, that's what the word actually even says. But while that's happening to you, we're getting ourselves together and we're coming back into ourselves and we're fellowshipping and we're understanding and we're moving. Part of this is trust. From those that are esteemed down to those that are on the lowly. It's trust. Can we come together? when we have literally been pitted against one another to distrust one another. See, the reality is that once we start to trust one another, that's when the doors fling wide open for us. We're here on that precipice because why? Because the Most High's already declared it. All we're going to do is just talk about what he's declared. So when we see it come to pass, we say hallelujah and amen. And guess what? We become even more strengthened and even more emboldened and even more empowered because why? Because we're seeing him do what he had said. So we're not just trusting ourselves, we're trusting him, and that trust builds, and that trust is power. And that trust becomes literally the authority. So with that, continue to pray for Q2UA. Continue to support the mission. This is one mission of many that we have planned, but it's an awesome thing to be on here on Friday and say, look, the container's back on the water. Its final stop is, well, not final stop, but it's about to be on the continent. Help us to get there. Help us to be able to capture the moments. Help us to be able to see, to get the historical data. It's historical. I don't know how else you cut it. It's historical. Help us to get there. We have less than 2 weeks. Help us to get there. All that help, it comes with the mouth. It's amazing when you are able to open up your mouth and say, look, that container is on the water. It will be there in less than 2 weeks. Help us to make sure that it is documented. Look, when these other folks be asking for money to document, I want to document. I want to show you. Oh, you want to show us, man? They don't have the self-hate in the community like we do. We get opposition because, quite truthfully, it's self-hate. Because then when you equate that to what other communities do, they look at that and it's like, oh, man, and they can't articulate it. They turn back into their 13, 14-year-old brains because they can't rationalize it. I deal with a bunch of kids that do not know how to rationalize things just yet because they don't have all of their brain developed. We just had this discussion yesterday. She said, Mr. Copeland, I understand, but we don't even have a fully developed brain until we're about 25. I said, you're absolutely right. But you can still comprehend things. You can still have your motor skills to control your arms and your legs. It's just a matter of control. When we understand that we've lost control, then we try to create some sort of a satisfactory framework to say, well, we can't do it. We can't do it. The devil's a liar. We can do all things through who? Through Yahusha who strengthens us. You want to know what? That's what they think. We're not going to be judged because why? Yahusha is going to strengthen us. Well, they say Jesus is going to strengthen us. A lot of our people don't even take that same energy. I laugh because you read that. You literally read that in the word. Saying Yahusha was astonished when he would see their level of faith coming from Gentiles, their level of faith. Man, with us, come on. Faith is action. Action is declaring. We can declare things. Help us to declare the success. So when people see the success, understand it wasn't your success. It's not my success. It's his success. And with that success, I got to get things in order because I know that, to be quite honest, I have to do the planning, even without the funds in hand. That's crazy because I know how the Most High works. He'll do things literally. Well, I got to be there on this date. He'll have it to where it's literally a day before. How did I even get on this flight? How did I even make it on over here? How did I even do this? How did I even do that? And then I have to apologize to people. Hey, I'm sorry. I couldn't plan for this. We were trying to plan for it. And we'll deal with opposition. That's just how it goes. Well, couldn't you have planned a little bit soon or longer? Couldn't you have given us, at least a week or 2 weeks? You only gave us a couple hours. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm in the same boat as you. And yes, those things it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. I had an actual cutoff. I had a cutoff of last week. I said, "Well, Father, if this doesn't happen, but by this Monday," I said, "I can't do it because I needed to give this job at least 2 weeks." That's professional courtesy. That is. If anybody's ever worked the job, you got to give them at least 2 weeks to a month. Hey, I'm gonna be leaving. Do you have your tickets? Do you have this? People want to see, proof. Especially in this day and age, folks would just be like, "Oh, I gotta leave so I can go on my meth bender." So yeah, I even look at that. I'm like, okay, well, Father, it's in your will. If I leave, I don't know if I have a job to come back to. It's in your will. And then you know that when you do leave and when you come back to that job, then guess what? Then they're gonna hate on you even harder. Oh, you can us up and leave and up and that. We all know. I'm not saying anything here that our people have not dealt with. We've dealt with all this. We're asking the Most High to open up the door for $45,000. That helps to secure media and to be able to get other incidentals that will support being able to document that container going from the port in Ghana over to Burkina Faso. There are people I'm asking on the background. That's why I said, please pray. Sometimes we have to understand it's not just going to be within us, it's going to be within our people, our families, our friends, our folks that had once stated 4 months ago that this endeavor was ridiculous. I guarantee you now the Most High's changed their hearts now that they're seeing what's happening in D.C. I guarantee you now that that's a different conversation. I guarantee you. What? Brother Karras wants to document the container arriving so then our people can see that so our people have hope. Amazing, isn't it? This is a different conversation. This is a different time. It is definitely a different season. This is harvest. This is the harvest time to see the fruit. I'm asking that you help me document the fruit being shown to the community to help strengthen and empower our people in a time where our people need a good testimony. Our people need a good testimony. It's definitely not my will. It's definitely his will. Like I had stated, 74 people in the chat. Technically, with 74 people in the chat, that is a connection of well over 2,500 people that we could all talk to, maybe even more. Technically, it would be about 50,000 people that we could all talk to. Imagine that. Imagine we talk to those people and we say, here's this link, the container, we're going there, and we want to present it. We want to show this. We want to be able to have that provided because you know that that's not going to be mentioned anywhere in any of these Western media circles. We already know that. If we're going to present something, we're going to have to do it ourselves. You already know. If we're going to show success, we're going to have to show it ourselves. You already know. That's why, again, I'm calling a fast for this Monday, sun up to sundown. Wherever you're at in the world, sun up to sundown. Monday, August 25th. That's in 3 days. That's 3 days to prepare yourself. This is what we're praying for. We're praying for the breakthrough, to travel, to document, to produce, and to disseminate. So with that said, I got to get up on out of here. You all have a blessed one. Salama, everyone. And I hope to see you all on Monday, August 25th, where we will open that fast. And then later on that evening, I'll close the fast. I know we're going to do it. I actually even have a piece about it. Crazy thing I have a piece about it. It's like, okay, Father, thank you. The only thing I'm saying is that, oh, I got to get myself in shape, because that is hard for the body to travel like that, to move like that. So yeah, just keep me in prayers, family. Keep me in your prayer. So with that said, most high willing, I'll see you on Covenant Awakenings. Be blessed, everyone. Salama.